Yes, I really want to record. It's Cut the Line, episode 3. I'm Tunzi Fudge, my better, back in the house. How you doing, man?
What up? Stuff. What up, mate? I'm groovy, bro. I'm sorry. We're doing it quite late. My bad. I prepared something for the first time in my life, mate. I did something here.
Uh-huh.
I made my own cheese grillers. If you're South African and you know garage life, you know all about sausage rolls, pies, and cheese grillers.
Uh-huh. You made your own cheese grillers.
This is, mate. This is from scratch,
Okay.
bro. Pastry, griller. I mean, bruh, like
Is
you
that
mate, you know nothing, bro.
is that
I've got a whole
the
coleslaw thing going on here. My man. Listen, listen.
living large? Is that the cheesy the sausage with the cheesy insides? My God.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Real
Mm,
life, man.
mm,
Real
mm,
life.
mm, mm, mm.
A multi-talented man. I'm Sensi Fudge my bets, mate. Always
Thank
good
you
to
very
see
much,
you.
mate. First time ever, huh? I can't take all the credit, but the
Uh-huh.
credits will be in the credits. So, for now, you got me to deal with, bro. Yeah,
You're
good
gonna have to.
times, mate. Good times. Having a chilled Sunday, stuff.
Yeah.
Um, what a like a week, bro. What a nice
Usually.
week.
Were you
In
watching
terms
this
of
weekend?
rugby.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was. Mm,
yay. Yeah, good
flavor.
times, bro. Good times. For the first time in a while, I'm actually really enjoying the URC and the
Mm,
Varsity Cup with the drama and everything. It's almost like my week is is filled with some amazing rugby stories
mm,
and narratives, etc. So, hey, mate, I can't complain. It's been cool
mm.
stuff, and we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. We're gonna tuck into it, and I'm looking forward to that,
Yeah.
bro. How have you been, mate?
Yeah. Oh, I've been excellent. Thank you very much. Living this life to the fullest. As you ask that, I'm not even going to start listening. I started jogging again on my bad knee. And
Okay,
yeah, I'm out here, mate. Out
Mr.
here.
Knee
Maybe
Replacement, bruh.
not knee
On it.
replacement. That's not, no, no. If I had the knee replaced, I would never jog. There would be no more jogging in my life if my knee was replaced. Nah, the reconstruction, ACL, what. But yeah, give me 3, 4 more years, and I'll maybe sidestep a person, maybe. But
Good to
I
hear,
reckon,
bruh. Good to hear. Yes, listen. Don't get me started too early, mate. But speaking of sidesteps, ha, come on. I don't know if you know of a guy called Happy Feet.
oh,
It was a
jeez, Malchas.
wild week. Wild
That was
week.
that try was it made me jealous, man. When I saw the highlights of it, I wish I was there for that
Yeah,
try.
yeah.
I would
It
have
was
been.
one of those
Oh
crazy in
man.
the rain, in the lightning. There was a
Mm,
thunderstorm, as is customary, and
mm,
pretty much that's what you're gonna get during the later days and weeks of Jan, and into
yeah.
February in its entirety. So
Mm. Talking about
yeah,
UJ, of course. UJ,
yeah.
who
You know how it goes. It's so weird. I think every year for the past 3 years or so, they've had a game cancelled. 2 years or so, they've had a game cancelled, or they've had a game that a little bit sprinkling of spice or drama has been added to it because of lightning. Having to, mate. It happened in the URC.
yeah, exactly.
Who are we,
That
bud?
really
Who are we?
that
Yeah.
threw the whole broadcast into disarray, going from the 2 games to the build up to back to that game. 2 excellent games. Which anyway, okay, we're not talking about the URC here right now. Someday we will be talking about the URC right here. But right now we're talking about the Varsity Cup, so let me not get derailed. So let's go back to what we were talking about, UJ. Um, yeah, that game was an absolute delight. Didn't get to watch the whole thing, only got to watch the highlights. But what's going on with UJ, first of all? Who didn't win the match, by the way? We're talking about them. They didn't win. Shimla's won that match, and now UJ have played 2, lost 2. And it looked like their forwards were struggling a little to me. But you tell me more. You were there.
Yo, bruh. Listen. So, geez, where do we start? I'm gonna babble off now. All right, let me babble off, mate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go deep into like Game of Thrones vibes. It's gonna get
Mm-hmm.
get maybe boring at times, but stick with me. There's some
No problem.
punchlines, right? So I'm not going to tuck into too many of the other teams, okay? We'll speak about the
Mm,
Eagles. They're dominating everyone. We'll speak about Wits, who surprisingly have been dominating, everyone. You look at their last results there, but and Marty's UCT. Okay, well, there isn't. I don't think there's much to talk about there. We haven't really seen them, pull out their ace yet. But
mm,
jeepers, creepers, mate, one of those two sides between Shimlas and UJ had to pull out an ace, bro.
mm,
Both sides backs against the ropes. Two games. Both of them lost their first game. Second game must win. UJ playing at home. Crowd came out. It was crazy. And literally, just before the game, boom. I haven't seen rain like that probably for about 10 days, 2 weeks leading up to it, which means both sides weren't expecting it. They haven't been training in those conditions. I think there was a 10% chance of it actually happening. And bingo, it happens. And it happens literally just as they're kicking off. I don't even think they got time to warm up in the conditions they were going to end up playing in for 60
yeah,
odd minutes of the game. But it
yeah.
was crazy. They went toe to toe. You could see no game plan was really changed. I think the only thing maybe both sides had to adjust to was kicking for post. I don't think they've 60 points, 60 points, 20 kickable goals not taken. 20 kickable
20.
goals not taken, mate. Okay, okay. Now let me draw the picture for you. Now, before
Penalty
you,
count must have been
okay,
mad. Yeah.
penalty count was going to get a little bit wild. So,
Mm,
number one. Number two, in those conditions, you're slipping and sliding. With both those kinds of teams as well, both sides very young. We'll tuck into the Shimla side, which I think it's insane. What Andre should do and Teabag, Jan Liebenberg, the legend, what they're trying to
Teabag.
at Shimlas, taking advantage of them being sort of the back door to the Eastern Cape is insane. I haven't seen you look at that team sheet, mate. It's players literally from all over the country. Guys from
Mhm,
Komani, Queenstown, through to Whittlesea, Mount Frere, Craddock,
mm, mm.
all the way to George, to Boerland, all the way to Nelspruit to Pretoria. So they've got a very superstar dream team sort of a setup. When they click, they click. And I think
Mm.
that's unfortunately what UJ was coming up against. You asked me about UJ. Now let me get into UJ. I'm just setting
Yeah.
the table for you here, mate. Jonathan
Yeah.
Mokoena, head coach, incredible coach, also forced to dig deep into depth. Their recruiting must have been so complex. I know it was complex. A lot of guys that were in the plans didn't make it through their studies. So now you've got to fill in those spaces. It's tough to get continuity when that's the state of things. And what I love is how you kind of are forced now to back a 19-year-old, which
Who's that?
guess what? UJ did do. And it was an inside center by the name of Likona
Oh,
Fina
mm,
from
mm.
Etua, Butterworth, Eastern Cape, Buckwild.
That's for
Buckwild.
real. Yeah.
Incredible player. And what I loved is that he's going up against a lot of other Eastern Capers. Mingiza, Junior World Cup player,
Mm,
Another one in that was the hooker, who I think is just an incredible player to watch. His technique at hooker is incredible. He reminds me a little bit of Skulk Brits, before Skulk Brits became before he became the character that he is. Loose player, he's good in space, etc. Ngwigwi, great thrower of the ball, doesn't shy away from the tough, rough and tough stuff, but he's insane in the loose. He's
okay.
from Whittlesea. So he was up against a couple of players like that. UJ had to dig deep into inexperienced players. Tian Vessels, another mountain of a guy playing. I think he played number 5, but he's more of a number 4 lock. They've got
Hmm.
Marius Kutsia, who played in number 4 lock, stole a couple of ball, a few lineouts from Pierre Ace and his men at Shimla. So, and he's also still 19 years old. Kwesi
Mm.
Dlamini, eighth man for Shimlas, has been insane. But
Yeah,
basically, I
yeah.
think with UJ playing at home in those conditions, threw a bit of a spanner in the works. I say this, because it's been my opinion, even before the World Cup. I think in this game we're playing today, especially with a nice mixture of youth, the effervescence,
Hmm. Yeah.
Instead, you make it a 50-50. I understand in the conditions. It's not what I'm saying now. It's not an easy call, and it's, very debatable. It could also backfire on you, not playing in the right conditions, carrying too often, knocking the ball on, easy turnover. That has an even more arguably detrimental effect, But I would say the opposite. I would say if your lighties are making the mistakes, good. We knock the ball on. They've got the ball. Now we defend, right? We keep
Yeah.
them out like they were doing the entire game, and we keep applying pressure in that way. But a kicking game, young players need to think. You don't want young players to think. You want to scrum off, giving the ball to young players, telling them, put your head down, go headbutt, go ruck, carry, you know? But now
Mm.
you're kicking a
But
box kick. And unfortunately, Anis and the back three for Shimlas were really good under the high ball. And even if they weren't, a 50-50 in those conditions becomes like a 50-50 on 50-50 on 50-50. No one can really tell what's happening. Even if you
mm,
regain the ball, it's not real momentum. You kind of still have to start from square one. And with youngsters having to keep starting them at square one and recalibrating their brain for where we are, what we're trying to do, tough call, mate. Especially
yeah,
we've got a new captain. And I thought Apea, um shucks, why am I how dare I forget his name now? Philip Apea and
I do.
um,
Uh,
yeah, Apea
uh,
Adu I
I think
thought it was insane. I thought that's what they needed to do, get those big young heavyweights, get them running, get them heaving and puffing, get them digging deep, and
mhm.
instead, man, Shimlas came back into that game. Great leadership from those guys. It was a maul, mate. It was toe to toe. That New Zealand Springbok game before the World Cup, similar. No, we're not going for posts, guys. There's no real, and it wasn't, you couldn't, because literally we were sitting at like a 20% success rate at kicks taking for posts. Like they were not converting any of the tries, they couldn't convert. The conditions just weren't allowing for it. So toe to toe, we go to the corner. You maul, I'm gonna maul. It
Yeah,
was
there
an
was lots.
insane game. Prince and Kabinde breaking the record, most tries scored in a career by a UJ player in the
He's good.
FNB Varsity Cup, which was amazing. He was
Mm.
insane. So one of the best tries I've seen in a long time. Happy feet,
Well, yeah.
Rowan Malchus. I saw like
Mm.
an
Mm.
Amapiano step. I don't know what that thing was, mate, to get there. I don't know. But
I still want to see a close up of the little juggle that he did after he did the step and before he did the pass over the top to the outside. I don't know if he lost control or if he intentionally threw a little magic trick up there and then he popped one over the top for
magic
Kavita to
trick,
score. Yeah,
bro.
what a
Amapiano
try.
dance, literally mid game in the rain, bruh. I don't know what to say to you. No, literally, I don't. You'll see the replays. I don't know what was going through his mind.
Well,
Only he knows.
so let me say something to you. So, I mean, for all the good times, let's take a look at the log right here. And UJ are second from bottom.
Tough
So,
time.
and there's, like you say, there's youngsters in the team. So, I mean, how do they turn this thing around? Because they sitting in seventh right now. Let me check who they're playing next.
Now put that thing back up, man. That was cool there. I like that. I like that there. I was actually had a nice little comment lined up for you.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I'll put it back up now. I just wanted to see who they're playing next. There we go. Ike's away. Trouble.
there we go. There it is. There it is, mate. And there's no,
So that's
maybe you
Varsity
think
Cup for
twice
you.
about,
Mm,
yeah, maybe you think twice about CUT. The result they would have that you would have backed UJ there. But how do you back UJ? You take a look at that CUT team. It's a strong side. You know,
mhm.
UCT kind of a strong side. They've kept a couple of players, but at the same time, we're definitely seeing older players like with the Eagles. I think they got four UJ players. Stuart
Yeah.
Sean Baxter's there. It's it's so difficult to call, mate. UJ in seventh place right now. I've seen enough from them in the first two games to think that okay, no, if they start clicking, I've seen individuals and I've seen the type of rugby they can play in whatever conditions. When they start clicking, I'm telling you right now, they could be at the top. And then you've got a Wits side who, how are they
Yeah.
performing the way they're performing? You've got Carl Smith there. Maybe that plays a big part of it. The experienced players.
Mm,
You've got Nusane. You've got some crazy intellectual property when
outstanding
it
players.
comes to
Yeah.
experience. Guys playing in provincial setups for quite some time. They've played
Fun ass at the wheel.
mate,
Mm,
Zwak and Kosi, contributing there nicely. So
yeah. It's massive.
I don't know. I feel like UJ could beat Wits, honestly. I feel like UJ's got a very strong set piece. For what I
Hmm.
love about the way UJ's playing, their intent, the way they contested lineouts. I know they're gonna get one or two lineouts in a game just because of how Marius Kutsia and Kamo Molefe, if I'm not mistaken, the eighth man, how I know they've got that instinct to contest no matter what. And that sort of rebellious, pikey mindset, of listen, I don't mind. Let's go toe to toe. Let's go and
Yeah.
see what happens. In the middle
Yeah.
of the season, when players are keen to play that kind of rugby, it's very hard to beat. They've had results go against them. I think Jonathan Mukwena is the right guy to turn things around. But basically, what
Hmm.
I'm saying, speaking about UJ, is that yes, you Dubs talk about a baptism of fire. A
Oh
lot of
boy.
teams did expect it. It's not easy, especially with the difference in competition. You've got two sides, maybe at Varsity Shield, who could
Mm,
prepare you for the Varsity Cup. The other sides are just getting used to being competitive at that Varsity Shield level. So big ask for you, Dubs. But a
mm,
team like UJ, two games, two losses. You take a look at the bonus points they've been able to get from those games. They were not easy games. They didn't lose those games very easily. They could have won those games, in fact.
they
Um,
could have. Yeah.
some coaches will say they should have, and then
Mm,
you look at Ike Tigers, who were expected to beat Marty's. A lot of people are saying they're in a rebuilding phase. They could win because that's Marty's. That's just how they roll, you know.
mm.
Eagles, so much pressure on them. You know how it is when you're in form. You're not used to being in that form. They've got a fantastic coach in Burger van der Westhuizen, and I will give them that.
Yeah.
A coach who's been through their club system. But listen, man, it's anybody's. There's no names. Um, Eagles are on a crazy winning streak currently. I can't
Mm.
wait for the big derby coming up this Monday. It's gonna be wild. Because especially teams going up against the teams that have to win now. It's
Yeah.
it's a crazy competition. I love where it's gotten to. It was always gonna
It
get
is.
here. We know
But
that.
everybody
A
always
lot of
has to win.
players, yeah, and also remember, a lot of players sort of feeding the provincial unions very quickly. Some of them during their season, get
Yeah.
signed up. Players like Hanru Sergio, etc. So it's Suleiman Hartzenberg,
Hmm.
etc. So it's man, you're looking at players like Baldwin Hansen coming back, Prince Nkabinde, trying to put a
Hmm.
cherry on top of what's been an incredible career at UJ. Um, Retabile Low for UCT Ike Tigers. There's some legacy guys. There's some legends out there. And they're spread across the Varsity Cup. So tough one to call. Man, it's going to be so hard to win at Botch since these guys are on a winning streak. I would hate to go to Potchefstroom. It's going to be tough. I don't know.
No,
Who
Shimla's
do
are
you
home.
say?
Shimla's are home. Shimla's are home. So Shimla's are, I mean, the Eagles are traveling, but the Eagles have shown that they don't mind traveling. They went to Stellenbosch and they dismantled Marty's in the opening match, made Marty's look
Exactly.
like it's going to be a rough season. And then Marty's went and beat UCT on the Green Mile in very impressive fashion, um, under the conditions of the Green Mile.
Yeah,
So they
what
played those to
you
perfection.
were there. You were there.
Yeah,
Actually,
I was there for some mad drama, man. Mad drama. Because let me not say too much because I don't know who will be angered by it. But the scaffolding that we were meant to be commentating from was deemed to be unfit for purpose moments before the kickoff of the match. Really, to be honest, about 15, 20 minutes before the broadcast started. And eventually, when it all came to an end, the broadcast was cancelled of the match, and we were able to have cameras on the ground, but not on the scaffolding itself, because the city of Cape Town said that was not on, and the application form had been whatever the details are. So I wasn't able to have a good angle on the game, and I had to watch it from a truck while we were preparing to put together some highlights on a
damn,
mixed and match
tight
basis.
game.
It was a unique situation, but the game itself was played the way that games on the Green Mile are played, with the wind blowing from the one direction into the corner. During the one half, you need to use the wind and chase points. In that first half, Marty's were playing with the wind at their back, with Mostert at fly half, who came back from the Bulls, who's played URC. I think they even said he played a Champions Cup game. I was trying to like, damn, and Curry Cup as well. And in the first match, he wasn't wasn't really shining, but that's because their systems weren't working that well. And against UCT, while they weren't expansive, but the conditions weren't there for expansive rugby, they capitalized and they scored in the second half, playing into the wind, held on to possession for long, long periods of time from the parts that I was watching in between getting, stuff ready and all of that. But in brutal conditions, they did well. And I feel like in the Varsity Cup, just like in the Varsity Shield, like this competition is very much based on the power of your scrum in compared to the competition that you're in. Like UWC, when they were in the Varsity Shield, they could cope with the scrum power they had. They were dominant, as a matter of fact, and that laid the platform for what they could do. CPUT similarly, and they contested well that final again. But those two, they're really great rivals. Those two Belleville sides, CPUT and UWC.
Mm,
But now
mm.
when UWs come to the Varsity Cup, teams must capitalize on the weakness of your scrum. If there's any chink in your armor shown there, it's like, well, forget about the backline today. We can score 3 tries in the scrum, and it's easy meat here. So we must chow and get the bonus point. And that's why UWC are sitting on like negative 90 points difference right now. And I want to have a
Yeah,
discussion.
that's mate. That's actually shucks. Sorry
No, no.
to cut you off there, stuff. That's actually so interesting you mentioned that, mate. And when I'm thinking about it right now, I'm actually thinking that why is that? Because usually, statistically in rugby, the the norm would be that lineouts are actually the more important set piece, simply because it has a,
Mm,
excuse the pun, knock on effect from getting a penalty. You know,
mm, mm.
um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You can change a penalty in the middle of the field to a maul on the 5 meter line, which is literally maximum points scoring opportunity, right?
Okay, but to cut you, that's exactly what's happening now. In the highlights that I watch of your match, in the was it what's the Wits
Confusion.
match? Which one was it?
Shimla's
Yeah,
region, round two.
yes. In your, there was a number of more tries. There was another one in the round that I watched the highlights of.
Yeah.
Gosh, let me just pull it up here. Cup results. Here we go. Let me find it because I feel like obviously the UCT Ikes game. Eagles UWs must have been, yeah, the Wits highlights that I was watching. The number of rolling mauls that they were
Yeah.
putting in that match were exorbitant. I didn't see, they only had one highlight of the Eagles UWs match, which I would have liked to see. It was a scintillating try that they scored, the Eagles. The Eagles are looking sharp, man. The Eagles are looking
Man,
sharp. But the
they are
rolling maul, I'm
scoring.
saying yeah, the rolling maul is the expression of the power of the scrum. And people are using that to the number of rolling mauls that were in your match. That was the way that UJ were dismantled in the end. Shimler seemed to tighten it up and
Yeah.
scored a number of tries, either from the rolling maul or when that collapses from the pick and go within 5-10 meters of the line. And using like the levels of, if you have a distinct advantage in the scrum, then Varsity Cup teams seem to take full advantage of that. And it starts with the rolling maul, it seems for me. And I mean, well, the Eagles, what they did to the Mighty's scrum was devastating. I had Motongo coming on early in the first half
Mm,
with the hooker as well, which ended up costing them in the end because they couldn't make changes late on. Scrum dominance is where it's at. And in
yeah,
this
look,
Potchefstroom,
so,
eesh.
to So I think what's so interesting, right? And maybe well, to touch on what your point, Stubbs, bro, is that yes, I think Scrum dominance is key, right? But why?
Mm,
It has to be because you'll have a significant number of them in a game, right? Why? Why do you have a significant number of them in a game? And I think the nature of the game that's being played in Varsity Cup, and what I love
mm,
about the competition is that it's not professional yet,
yeah.
arguably, right? And because of that, you've got enough room to experiment with certain laws, right? Not just
Mm-hmm,
certain laws, but certain ways of playing the game as well. Like I
mm,
imagine for coaches playing Varsity Cup, it must be really difficult. You might have the perfect system and the perfect structure, but then you've got to deal with the kind of characters you're dealing with. Young guys who want to express themselves, guys like Happy Feet. You give Happy Feet the right game plan, the wrong game plan, and your entire team, domino effect wise, is tumbling down. And so you've got to play this quick tempo, fast rugby. So you will naturally see more penalties. It's not to say that they are not coached well enough or they're too young to be able to be well disciplined or in the between the 10 meters lines.
mm,
It's actually because the questions you're being asked on defense are questions that at top level rugby are being asked, by teams like Ireland. And you can see, the penalty count, even in the Six Nations, Italy and Wales playing against Ireland, it's insane. It's almost like you need to have a strategy to come against that. So you will see more lineouts because of the pressure. You will see more scrums because of how quickly the game is being played. And so, yes, 100%. I think you're right. The scrum dominance becomes a big factor because, yes, scrum dominance doesn't necessarily equal more dominance, but usually you will find that the same systems in terms of scrummaging very well, which is getting tight, the technique, individual technique, clicking together as a system, the height of it, etc. Yes, those systems when in place at scrum time usually will be in place when you maul as well. Um,
yeah.
so we're starting to see the result of that. And what I love the most is that because it's at a level where you don't have much time to put together combinations, and remember, combinations, you see it on defense more than attack. On
Mm-hmm.
attack, it's very difficult to say, oh, that's because they don't really have the right. They're not there yet. They're not used to playing around each other. They're not used to each other's behavior. But on defense, you see it clearly, like that Fina try, short ball from
Yeah.
Malchus right through three players miscommunicating, two guys folding, no one really identifying him. He came from a run up like he was about to bowl in a test match, a cricket test match. You know what I'm saying? He came from their try line on a trot, mate. It was, it
That's
was
cut the line rugby. That for me. That's the definition, mate.
it was insane. But so you see a lot of defensive systems being tested properly. You can
Mm,
try as you like to simulate game situations in on the practice field. I can tell you right now, it's almost impossible for a simple fact called
mm,
adrenaline. Things are moving much quicker. You yourself are moving and adjusting much quicker. Your moments where you're switched off, you don't realize because your body's trying to get to a certain position, etc., etc. So difficult to communicate, and it starts to show. So the set
yeah.
piece tries is what's exciting me, man. I absolutely love something that's organized. We're seeing a lot more of those. The game is becoming so much more interesting. We saw a lot of like kicks to each other instead of up and unders, which shows players
Mm.
adapting towards the last 20 minutes in that UJ Shimla's game, which went right
Yeah,
down
the,
to the
the cross
wire.
kick
So,
is
hey,
still
mate,
alive and
I'm
well, which
excited about this
remains
one.
like
Yes, the
such
Eagles are
a
dominating.
major. Oh, sorry, carry on. No, sorry, there's some lag there.
Yeah, no, the Eagles are dominating, but hey, man, it's hard to predict what's going to happen week in and week out.
Yeah, no, the cross kicks become a major part of the game. It's it's just become such a regular part of the game as well. It's just a normal way to split defenses. Flyers are expected to get it on the money. It's a gamble that people will have understood that it's worth taking now. But
And it's
we're getting
happening.
deep in here. It sure is. I just wanted to talk quickly about what's happening in the Varsity Shield, seeing as we disrespected them the last time that we were out here. So, first of all, Turks have absolutely demolished both of the first two teams they've played. CPUT was the last one they did. They beat, was it Wusu or Fort Hare? No, I think it was Wusu, whatever, 31-0 to start. Their scrum is out of control. So that's part of the scrum conversation that I wanted to have, but we can wrap it up there anyway. The Turks scrum is ready to come back to the Varsity Cup and stay in the
Yeah,
Varsity Cup,
yeah.
while UWs will go back down. And over time, somehow, we need to find, well, UWs are going to have to find a way to complement the quality of their backline play with having like a Varsity Cup level scrum. It's a really difficult thing to have because you got to have that depth as well. It's a complicated situation. Varsity College have won their first two matches, man. And they're playing some absolutely vibrant rugby. Scored a
Love it.
screamer of a try in their first match. Yeah, it's great. Just
What a
promoted, of
story.
course, from being outside of the Varsity Shield. Rhodes played them in a playoff match. Apparently, they won that narrowly with a last-second kick. I don't know what you
I
need to
miss
see
the
these
rodents.
matches, man.
I miss the rodents. Come
Everybody
on.
misses the rodents. My alma mater, man. I was there for 1 year. 1 year. 1 year. So
Alma mater,
represent
actually. Yes. Damn. Alma
the
mater, actually.
rodents.
No, dude. You guys are doing the things there. Stuff. You can be proud, man. Be proud, bud.
Top side. Hopefully they come back. Hopefully, but at whose expense? I do like this promotion relegation thing because look what it's done in the Shield. You got Varsity College, who've obviously been itching to get into the thing. They got a pretty funky looking mascot as well. It's all about the mascots this year. And their mascot, he's my favorite one. I want to know who made it, what the inspiration
No, what
was.
do you mean? I haven't.
It's a
I'm
spiky
struggling.
orange. It's a spiky orange.
Oh, oh, Ross, man. Come on now. Call
Yes.
him by his name.
Yeah. Call him by his name. I don't know where it came from. It's not the colors of their university. He's
Things
like
are
he's
popping off in Durban,
it's
bro.
a mad. I love it.
Things are
Okay.
popping off. I love that Varsity College little
Mm,
yo, talk about a wild card, huh? Talk about a
yeah.
wild card. Fantastic.
Wusu, Wusu playing flashy rugby. They love their rugby, and they played with a great spirit, but they played with such a deep irresponsibility as well. You know, there's like the one try that they went without the wing, who scored in the end. He went diving over the line, but he didn't collect the ball while he was doing this dive. And I was like, yeah, that's Wusu there in a nutshell, man. That's why they haven't won. Eh? Have they won the Varsity Shield? They've never won the Varsity Shield.
No, they came
Fort
really
Hare,
close.
yeah.
What, 3 years back against CPUT in that
Mm.
final. Lee
Oh
Tanguba had
yeah.
numerous opportunities to put them
Mm.
ahead. Well, actually, it took two
Mm.
kicks would have made them champions. He
Yeah,
missed
I remember. Yeah.
extra time drama. Man, I love. I'll tell you one thing about the Varsity Shield stuff. I
Mm.
absolutely love the drama, man. Yes, there are. It's tough to find sort of a middle. It's either teams are much better than the rest. Two teams are better than the
Mm.
rest. But what I love is that you've also got an incredible competition happening towards the bottom of the table as well. You know, again, coming
Yeah.
back to that, the point you made
Mm.
about promotion relegation. It's on like Donkey Kong, mate. And
Yeah, it sure is.
we don't see the rodents anymore. We see Varsity College coming in out of the blue. I think it was fantastic to give them the opportunity. They do have some
Mm.
amazing resources. They've got relationships, with Sharks Academy, etc., Varsity College. But
Oh, really?
it's a system that's been in place for very long, and
Huh.
I think there are a couple of players that have got a stake to claim. They
Clearly.
deserve to be seen,
Yeah.
and clearly the results are showing. So for me, mission accomplished. The system is
No,
working well.
they're cleaning up. And remember, there's one automatic promotion and one automatic relegation spot. Last spot in the Varsity Cup, first spot in the Varsity Shields. But then the second place in the Varsity Shield plays a playoff promotion relegation match against the second last team in the Varsity Cup. And what I'm saying to you, and it sounds to me from what you've been saying today that you would disagree. I think UJ have a chance of being the second last team in the Varsity Cup. CUT, man, you're not feeling that. Two
I
losses in the
can't,
trot, going to the Ike
mate.
Tigers next.
I
CUT
just
also
don't
down there
know.
though.
I just don't know. And you know what the thing is? Look at that. You'd think, okay, now surely UJ are going to come up with a win. But then bingo. all of a sudden you're going down to the Green Mile, and the Green Mile games are being not broadcast and stuff down there. You know, there's scaffolding is being, yeah, I mean, hey, anything. It's a crazy place to watch a game of rugby, the Green Mile. It's one of its
Mm,
kind because you're right. The wind plays an insane part. And if you get it on the wrong day, it's hard to even pass the ball further than 10 meters. It's
yeah.
hard to even pass the ball. Lineouts become a bit tricky, actually. It becomes, kicking up and under is a thing now. You can't actually kick it up and under anymore if you're playing into the wind. You
Mm,
literally, it can't be part of
mm.
your game plan, you know?
Mustard,
So,
Mustard, after Marty scored their try in the second half, he like took the kick, he knew what was happening. The guy put it
yeah.
down, he held it, he kicked it. As soon as he kicked the ball, he turned around and started running backwards. He saw the replay, the ball went up and then went
It's a
past his
move.
head.
It's a TV game. It's a TV game, mate. It's a PlayStation game. What happens
Yeah.
there? I think it's insane, and that's what I'm talking about. Yes,
Mm,
I disagree with you. I think there's too much talent in UJ. I was
mm,
surprised they lost to CUT, but then again, it's hard to predict. There's so many new, fresh players. There's so many great coaches in all of these sides. It's hard to
mm.
predict what's going to happen. And when UJ goes to
Yeah.
UCT, can I see them winning there? Tough one now. Tough one. I think they can, but in those conditions, it's
See,
tricky.
but
But then
no,
again,
yeah. So
UCT just
mm.
lost in those conditions to Marty's, right? So here we go.
Which so here's my thing though. So this is what I love about the Varsity Cup. Similarly about the Super Rugby, I'm going to stop saying that stuff eventually. I need to forget that Super Rugby ever existed. That UJ are in seventh place on 3 points, and they are 2 points behind fourth place, which qualifies for the quarterfinals, which is the Ikeys. But if they lose against the Ikeys this weekend, now which teams do they have left on that log? Talking about the Eagles. They've played the Shimlers already. Vid's top of the log. That's going to be
It's
a Joburg
huge,
derby. They could win that.
huge.
Marty's. That's going to be Marty's on the rise now
Marty's away
as
from
well.
home. Yeah,
Mm.
Marty's away
But
from home.
I'm not saying that UJ are going to be there at all. But I think it might be between CUT and UJ just because Ikes have been finding a way to win. They've got that experience of winning these last few seasons. They were in the
We saw
final,
it last year as
and
well. Yeah,
mm, and
yeah.
they keep on producing Western Province players now that keep
Hey,
leaving
the
Tierson and all the
mentalist,
rest of these guys.
Dawson
Mm,
Squibb, he's doing his thing, bro. The mentalist is
top
doing
man,
his thing. Yeah,
the
no, you're right.
mentalist.
Doesn't matter
I like
how
it.
bad they look, they somehow have a way to always be competing for that top four spot. But to remember, UJ
Mm,
were as well. But
yeah.
I think you're actually being quite fair. I think you're being quite fair. It is looking tough for them right now. No, it's looking tough for them right now. But they go to UCT, they get a win. It's a very different story we're talking about, you know.
Well, then the cat is amongst the pigeons. And as you say, the Joburg Derby, they win like there's equal chance of them finishing seventh and finishing fourth or third. But because they lose so narrowly as well, and it's been happening for years, that
Yeah,
they were like actually, when it comes to the end and you look at the log and you look back at some of the results they had and like point of origin tries and things like that. And like there was the one year where the result was altered after the match. I think it was an opening match against
yeah,
Wits. Bram van Straten was coach, and then at the end of the season, that ended up costing them so dearly. So
yeah.
it's been a tale of bad luck, and I would love to see Jonathan Mukwena make it into the knockouts with that UJ team because they have such devastating attacking potential with ball in hand that
Mm,
if you now play against Marty's away, even at the DC, and you now score 3 tries in the first half, and you've disregarded, you're like, we're not playing for lineouts or anything. We're playing a wild game here. They're the
mm.
kind of team that can disrupt, but also, like Shimlers were 2 years ago, the best team by far in the competition, hit the semifinals, the rain fell down, they kept on trying to pass the ball, and they got claimed by the Ike Tigers, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
So funny you mention Shimlas, mate. I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, and I love the Eagles, big supporter, big fan of Berger van der Westhuizen, what he's done there, the players as well, big fan of Peterson. But listen, I think honestly, Shimlas go to Bloem on Monday. Well, invite the Eagles to Bloemfontein on Monday, and I think
Mm.
they take the Eagles. I think they take the Eagles there at home. I'm telling you,
Woo!
I
I can't
think
wait.
I think this Monday a huge change in the system or the way things are looking. happens, and it happens there in Bloemfontein. I like the way Wenzel looks. I like Jean Reynel at Scrummy. They've got a lovely balance, man. Zane Bester's willing to work. There's nowhere to hide. That's what I feel. I feel like there's nowhere to hide. And when you're in a team culture like that, players like Avwil and Mapete at fullback, all of a sudden,
Mhm.
believe in themselves and play with a bit of conviction. And that's danger, mate.
Yeah.
That's danger, you know. So I can't wait
Mm.
for round three. Monday, I think, is gonna tell us what we don't know. You know, okay.
Where are you on Monday? Which game are you doing?
In Bloemfontein, 7 p.m. game. I'll have someone next to me in that one, a stranger. My first one like that. You've
Oh,
done that
really?
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Is it
Interesting.
confirmed?
You
Is it?
enjoyed it. I thought it went well
How do you?
when you did that, you know. So looking forward to it. Big game, mate. Bloom Shumla's must win for them. They'll be confident as well, especially after a dramatic win like they had. They had to dig so deep, man. They had to dig so deep. Their defense was insane at certain phases during that game. In fact, their defense, I would even argue, saved them, won them that game.
Mm.
But yeah, I can't wait for it. It's gonna be a mammoth, mate. That game, Shimla's versus the Eagles.
Yeah. I'm just now realizing that my game's starting at 5. I thought it was starting at 7. That changes my
Yeah.
whole plan for the day, bro.
Yeah.
I need to keep my calendar more up to date, mate. I'm getting a bit casual. It's throwing a spanner in the works. I need to go and plan my day. Okay. All right. Listen, mate.
Always interesting in the
Absolutely.
Varsity Cup, mate.
It is. Absolutely outstanding episode, mate. I need to let's wrap it up here. But I just wanted to ask, so checking in after round 2, who's the champions of the Varsity Cup and the Varsity Shield? I assume that you're going Tux.
Mate, I think we'll see a never before seen final, maybe a never before seen again final. I think Varsity College is actually going to play against Tux, mate. That's what this Varsity
Wow.
Cup stuff, that's what's happening, bro.
Mm,
At every year
yeah.
that passes by, a new team is further along in their development. Just like the
Mm.
rodents, we don't see them, but I'm telling you, those rodents are busy out there in Makanda, bro.
I wish them well
That
on your
one was for you.
journeys.
That one was for you, bro. That one was for you. Um, and
So yeah,
and
that'd be a great final.
yeah,
Uh,
100%. Look, the way teams are playing is testing other teams. There's no comfort zone anymore. The way the
mm,
innovation of the FNB Varsity Cup keeps coming year after year. There's no comfort. There's no I've got this system like Marty's did where they won, you know, a couple of titles in a row and they were unbeaten for 17 games in a row.
mm.
You know, we
Obviously,
don't
them, yeah.
see that. We don't see that anymore because of how developed not just the competition is and the attention on the competition, but also the innovations and the different coaches coming in. So for me, man, after this Monday, I think it'll prove that. I hope I don't put my face in it for saying that. I think the Shimlas will put a bit of an upset in Bloemfontein,
Hmm.
and watch out for UJ, mate. It's only a matter of time. I don't care who you are. There's no ways you can have that much bad luck, bro.
Yeah. So one name, one name.
One name,
Who's looking
winning the
what's the best?
competition.
Who's looking the best in the Varsity Cup right now at the end of round 2?
Ah, mate, the Eagles. Even the
The
best
Eagles,
mascot,
man.
mascot coming in on a helicopter. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on. Things
I,
are
don't-
popping in Fudge.
yeah, they're looking deadly, man. Like
Yeah,
properly dangerous. And if they finish top of the log and they host the final, ooh, watch
yeah.
out, man. Because
Good
then
luck.
they know how to
Good luck.
conduct themselves under pressure in front of home fans, where some teams struggle with the big moment. I find that Wits over the years have struggled with the big moment.
But
They've had a
look
lot
at
of
them
good
now.
players, Wits.
But
They've had a
look
lot
at
of
them
good players.
now, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Look at
Top of the
them now.
log.
You know what I
Mm.
mean. And remember, last year they had a lot of unlucky results as well. You know,
Yeah,
they
that's
had an
true. Yeah. Mm.
insane dramatic victory over UJ, who were in the lead by 33-0 or something at halftime.
Yeah.
Wild,
Yeah. Yes.
you know.
That was crazy.
So it's
I love this competition. Yeah.
yeah, it's good. It's hot. It's proper. It's proper. Who knows what's going to happen on Monday? Shimla's win. They haven't beaten the Eagles since 2017. We're kind of seeing those records being broken. That's the kind of feel. You
Oof.
know, I mean, 7 years, mate.
Mm. Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Again, I'm jealous, man. I'm just hoping my game gets to go ahead this time, seeing as I didn't get to actually do my work
Yeah,
last time
yeah,
around.
yeah, mate. You know, you've got a job to do there. Please, bro. Yeah, I hope they put you next
I
to the
do.
field. You know, never mind the scaffold. Give the man a mic.
Yeah, listen, mate. We haven't spoken about UWs, and I don't want to speak about them because it's frustrating to me when they come up, and it's the second time that it's happened as well, and they're really not getting. It's not close results that they're getting. So they're playing CUT now, and this is going to be.
Big game for them. Big game for them. They have
This
to
could
be
be the
aiming.
biggest,
They would have
best
been
chance of winning.
preparing for it. Yeah, they would have been
Yeah.
preparing for it. They know that it's a result they must get. In fact,
Mm,
I'm sure that with when they did the reviews of the games they were playing, even then, you know, I'm sure that
mm,
they were thinking in their mind, okay, are we moving? Are there positives to take from this that we can use against teams like CUT, UJ?
mm,
You know, it's gonna be, man, I can't wait. Again, there it is,
mm.
there it is. You know, is that we could be? We're talking about bottom of the log stuff, like it's semifinals, like it's
Yeah.
because
Mm,
it's really that serious.
yeah.
Some teams have never been in the Varsity Shield. History is being made every year
Mm.
now. For the Tuck story is one of them. You know, Tucks for the first
Mm.
time ever going down to Alice. I mean, hey,
Yeah. Hey. Eating the pre-match meals there in
I
Alice is going
love
to be a
that.
different
I
vibe,
really
mate.
love that.
It's a
Chisanyama,
different.
son.
Yeah,
Chisanyama, a
man.
little bit of smeedy there, a little kidney there. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Welcome to the EC.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. But yeah, UW's the team that gave us this, in spite of not playing in the Varsity Cup, that gave us Kurt the Orancer, gave us Tristan Lates, aka the Toothpick, who's now playing for the Springboks, for the Blitzboks, where he should have been
And
for
he's,
years for me.
are you
He's
seeing him?
ripping,
Are you seeing
ripping,
him ripping it
ripping.
apart, bro?
Yeah, he's a
He's
killer.
going to the Olympics. I think he's
Oh,
going
yeah.
definitely going to the
Oh,
Olympics. You know,
yeah.
he's
What a.
looking looking the part. Looking no, mate.
Yeah.
Look, you can never doubt UW. It's very
Mm,
difficult in UW. Remember, their talent pool
mm,
it has so many teams picking from it. Let's be honest. You've
mm,
got CPUT, you've got UCT, you've got Marty's. Although you've got quite a few high schools, you know it's tough to get top pick, right? And for me, where the challenge is really deep in specialized positions, like you mentioned the
mm.
scrum, like the locks and the front row. And
Yeah.
that will always be quite difficult, especially when you've got teams picking your top players, like
Mm.
Sean Moritz, like Moritz. He was their hooker last year and is
Good
an
point.
animal.
Mm.
He's doing insane things for UJ. Is it UJ?
Okay.
Yes, it's UJ.
Is
Yeah.
it in?
Yeah. So look, huge challenge for you Dubs. I think it's the kind of team
Mm,
it comes back to conversing about the 2 years up and down. You know, I think we're at a stage now where it, there's enough talent at high school level. We're seeing it with Shimla's. Shimla's has got players from
mm.
Hudson Park, Sterling, Craddock. Come on, mate.
Yeah.
Whittlesea,
Mm.
Queenstown, you know, like there's talent
But
out there.
the scrum's a different beast. You need that, you need beef that's been built up over the course of a, primary school and
Mate,
high school career.
mate, did you not see Francisco dos Reyes? Francisco dos Reyes.
Who the hell is
Oh,
that?
man.
Francisco Torres.
Youngster. Playing prop came off the bench for Shimlas. Shimlas
Uh-huh.
were up against it, and the front row for UJ, it's not play. It's proper
Yeah.
guys. Some of them have provincial experience. They're big
Mm,
boys. They're proper. If you had to choose scrummages, that front row there, you're looking at them and it's asking questions of your choices, right?
mm,
I'll go as far as saying that in the competition. And it's tough. You know, you lose a Maritz, it becomes a little bit more difficult. Remember, they had Justin Tace as well, who was a crazy
mm,
serviceman for them. You know, so being able to fill in those positions in a province like Western Province, very difficult for you Dubs. It's a
mm.
problem they need to try solve. And there's
I
strategies
think,
that a team can
I think
use.
I think they need to partner with like Western Province Academy and stuff. They need to get those players. They need to. Some of the partnerships that these other teams have had in the past with Blue Bulls and so the Y Hundred and Bongi and all those guys played for Tux was because of partnerships with maybe the value proposition is changing as well for the provinces and where to apply and where to have their young players getting match experience and all of that kind of stuff. Hey, listen, sorry, mate, my battery is about to run down to 5% again, and
You
we're going to
could
cook
go
out like we
on
did the last
till
time.
next week, Sunday. Stuff. It's
Yeah,
always a pleasure, privilege, and an honor, man. Too much fun, Lionheart. Appreciate it.
every single time, man. I know we had proper internet connection this time. We're getting better and better.
Come on.
To those
Come
couple of people
on.
that downloaded the first few episodes. Stick with us, mate. The quality is improving. We're gonna have a mic
We're
with
on our
Mtunzi
way up.
soon, and
Cool,
hopefully we
man.
get to shoot some episodes in person as well. Because you know, I
Yeah,
miss you,
mate.
man.
Yeah, I
It's
miss
some
you,
nonsense,
bro.
man.
Come on
Yeah,
now.
it's good.
Come on now. Come on now, man. Where's Port Elizabeth, bro? Where are the Madivas?
Yo, oh, let's not talk about it, mate. It's missed
Let's
so
not talk about
badly,
it, mate.
Port
An
Elizabeth.
episode on its own. An episode
Oh
on its
man,
own. Touring to
it's
Tebeja.
a beautiful city.
Man,
Love
the
it.
one.
Need
Yeah, mate.
schools rugby, need Madiba's rugby, need EP to come back. I want to spend half my year in Gqeberha, no
Come
longer
on.
named Port
Straight
Elizabeth.
up. Straight up. Have a good one,
All
man.
right, mate.
Stop. Thank you so much,
Enjoy
brother.
the game.
For
Enjoy
sure.
that
You
game.
too. You too. All the best. Have a good one. I can't wait for it. Yeah, I can't wait to
Mm,
chat with you about the happenings tomorrow.
yeah.
Have a good one,
Pray
buddy.
for UWs, mate. Pray for
Mm,
UWs.
mm,
Mm.
mm,
But
mm.
if they win, CUT is in it with them because there's going to be everybody's coming for both of them, and if they both struggle to win more games, it might be a game of bonus
Yeah.
points,
It's
and
gonna be that
let's not look too
UJU
far into
Dubs
the
vibe.
future.
It's gonna be that
Mm.
UJU Dubs vibe. Yeah, for sure.
It's a
For
huge
sure.
game, yeah. And now
It
I know
is.
what time
Nah,
it is.
man.
I can prepare for it. All right.
Mate, have a good one. Next
Good night,
time.
man. Next
Good night,
time, brother.
brother.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.